Alright, let's get right into it. Put on your black suit, grab your shades, because it looks like Sony Pictures is digging back into its archives to save the future of one of its biggest, most valuable franchises. Yep, you guessed it, we're talking Men in Black, and it looks like a comeback is officially in the works. But before we really dive in, let me ask you something. Remember this little gadget? The neuralizer? You know, that flashy thingy that zaps your memories so the whole aliens are walking among us thing stays a secret? Well, it seems Sony is really hoping we haven't forgotten the good old days of this franchise, because their entire comeback plan pretty much hinges on that nostalgia. Okay, time for the official briefing. First up, the agents are back. After a few years where things went kinda quiet, it is officially looking like this awesome sci-fi comedy is headed back to the big screen. So here it is, the big news. It is officially happening. Sony Pictures is in development on a brand new, a fifth Men in Black movie. It seems like they're ready to bring our favorite secret agents back to police all the alien shenanigans here on Earth. But, you know, to really get why this is happening now, we gotta look back at a mission that, well, didn't go so well. That brings us to our next section, the International Incident. Yeah, this is basically the story of why the franchise needed a reboot of its own reboot. Now, wow, when you put them side by side, the difference is just night and day. On one hand, you've got the original trilogy, Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, come on, an absolutely legendary duo. They made Men in Black a huge cornerstone for Sony. Those movies were hits with critics and at the box office. But then you have 2019's Men in Black International. And look, Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson are fantastic, but it just didn't work. The movie got slammed with bad reviews and, frankly, it bombed. So, what's a studio to do when its big, shiny reboot just completely flops? Well, that brings us to our next part, Sony's billion-dollar hope. And their strategy? It's pretty simple, actually. When in doubt, you go back to what worked in the first place. And this number right here, this is why they care so much. We're talking $1.9 billion. That's how much the whole franchise is made. For Sony, this isn't just some movie series, it's a golden goose. You don't just let an asset worth almost $2 billion die on the vine. This chart basically tells you everything you need to know. Just look at the average box office for the original movies. Huge, right? Now, compare that to the massive nosedive for MIB International. That's not just a little dip, folks. That is a financial cliff. A drop like that is what makes studio execs sit up, slam on the emergency brake, and say, okay, we need a whole new plan. So what is the new plan? What's the big idea to fix this? Well, it's a huge bet, but honestly, it's also kind of the most obvious one. Sony's entire strategy boils down to one thing. Bring back the guy who made the whole thing iconic to begin with. Bring back Will Smith as Agent J. But hey, it's not just about getting the star back, right? You need the right person writing the script. And that leads us to our next piece of the puzzle, the Bad Boys connection. This is all about Sony locking down a creative team that has a proven track record with their biggest star. So meet the guy they've tasked with writing this comeback, Chris Bremner. And you gotta understand, this isn't just some random pick. This is a very strategic move. It's classic Hollywood 101. When your franchise is in trouble, you bet on a sure thing. And the partnership between Bremner and Will Smith has become a very profitable sure thing. And you can see the pattern right here. It's like a playbook. First, Bremner writes the massive hit Bad Boys for Life. What happens next? They immediately hire him for Bad Boys 4. Then, he writes Smith's next thriller, Fast and Loose. And now, they've handed him the keys to the Men in Black kingdom. See what's happening? For a studio, this isn't a gamble. It's just smart pattern recognition. They're trying to copy-paste a successful formula to give this movie the best possible shot. And if you need proof that this formula works, just look at this number. $837 million. That's the combined box office for the Bad Boys movies Bremner wrote. In Hollywood, a number like that screams one thing. This guy and Will Smith together, they print money. And that is exactly what Sony needs right now. Okay, so the plan seems pretty solid, right? They've got the billion-dollar franchise, they've got the writer who has the magic touch with their star. Everything seems locked in. But there is one giant question mark hanging over this whole thing. And that brings us to our final section, the ultimate question. The one little detail that could change everything. And here it is, the catch. This comes straight from the reporting over at Deadline, and I want you to focus on one tiny but absolutely crucial word here, hopes. Sony hopes that Will Smith will come back as Agent J once he reads the script. You see what that means? it means he's not signed on yet. The entire plan, this whole comeback story, it all rests on him getting that script and saying, yeah, I'm in. And that leaves us with the ultimate cliffhanger, doesn't it? Sony has done all its homework. They've looked at what went wrong, they've figured out a solution, and they've hired the right person for the job. But the biggest piece of the puzzle, it's still not on the board. The entire fate of the Men in Black franchise now comes down to this one simple question. Will Agent J actually return?